Hi everyone, Anthony Blontano here, the internet's washing machine music nerd, and it's time for a review of the new Planning to Rock record, All Love's Legal. Planning to Rock is the musical pseudonym of Janine Rostron. Over the past several years, she has made a name for herself as being a frequent influence on the music of The Knife, as well as a collaborator on their most extravagant and experimental album to date, Tomorrow in a Year. And in her own music, which has been released on various labels, one of them being DFA Records, she has experimented relentlessly with pop and electronic dance music, matching them with a manipulated vocal that sort of strips Janine's voice of its female characteristics. It's kind of a gender-neutral vocal. It's androgynous. It's a female voice that seems deeper to the point where it could possibly be male. The androgyny of it is eerie, and the purpose of treating her voice like this is sort of spelled out in the lyrics of Planning to Rock's music, especially on this latest record of hers. Like with tracks that were dropped before the release of this LP, Misogyny, Drop Dead, Patriarchy, Over and Out. Songs that, while they feature a really strong political message, for example, the song Misogyny, Drop Dead, a track that doesn't just feel like a rebellion against hatred toward and the mistreatment of women, but a song that smashes musical norms as well. I mean, I guess while Planning to Rock is going against some societal norms, she might as well go against some musical ones as well. The foundation of this track is an irresistible but very subtle dance beat. There's an oddly shaped melody on this track that is backed up in sync with the bass line, really thick, very punchy as it comes together, and what an odd vocal melody on this thing. It is just jaw-droppingly freakish. It matches up with this pan flute synth sound and just goes in with toot 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 toot. These are sounds that the more I listened to them, just the more strange they felt, but simultaneously I feel like I'm being transported into Planning to Rock's head, where for whatever reason it all kind of makes sense. Every beat rocks my body, every note twists my brain, every lyric flips a gender norm. The song Patriarchy, Over and Out, it works as the closing track on this record, and has all of these synthesizer string leads that feel like they're straight out of an old school disco song. The very airy synth solo being performed over this plays into a bit of a self-aware corniness in the track too, I think. I like that Planning to Rock plays with very accessible elements of pop and dance music, but then has a pretty unorthodox approach to it as well. I think, in a way, moments like this show off influence from fellow avant-gardists like Yoko Ono and Laurie Anderson, but with more of a blatant rejection of tempo and pitch, which Planning to Rock ignores, abuses, completely forgets about on numerous points of this record, and the results can be wildly fun. I'm not talking about a lot of quantized instrumentation or sequenced sounds on this record. I'm just talking about a lot of raw, in-the-moment performances. It's like all Planning to Rock is focused on is this really righteous message, and she uses the music as a vehicle, or as like a horse, which she rides aggressively until it's within an inch of death. And the message behind this track, patriarchal life, it's over. It's passé, it's stale, it's out of date. There's not a lot of detail in the lyrics, but I think there is a lot of subtext in the way Planning to Rock performs this song, in the vocals she applies to this record, the androgynous vocals, delivered in this male-female hybrid voice. It's kind of unifying. It's like acknowledging in order to throw these shackles off, genders must get together to make that happen. When looked at conceptually in this way, so many songs that are pretty grating from Planning to Rock all of a sudden just make sense. It makes already beautiful tracks on this record, like All Love's Legal, even more gorgeous, which is one of the more powerful ballads on this LP. It sort of points out the futility of governments or societies standing in the way of two people going into a consensual marriage, whatever their genders may be, because truth be told, you cannot legalize love. Love is the one gift that gives life its purpose. Wonderful message on this track. I think the vocal is catchy. I love the strings on this track. Good beat. Planning to Rock really hits a pocket on most of these tracks here where she makes accessible music. She conforms to accessible ideas, but still, then again, her approach is so unorthodox in a lot of ways that she is far from being normal. Another track on this LP I find very catchy and strange is the Let's Talk About Gender Baby track off of this LP, which is kind of a rework of the refrain off of the track Full of Fire from the latest Knife record, Shaking the Habitual. And this song is backed with another really infectious beat that sounds like it could have come from the DFA Records vault or something like that. Some kind of post-punk disco hybrid. And the very sour, gender-neutral falsettos all over this track are oddly alluring, very sticky. Let's talk about gender, baby. Let's talk about you and me. And the synth-reinforced bass line rides the groove of this track perfectly. I get the same enjoyment out of Public Love, which is just this freakish dance track with this distorted, skittering, three-note synth bass line. And the beat on this thing is so primal, as well as the vocal delivery too. Public respect, public love. Spelling out the title too. While there isn't a lot to this track compositionally, I do think its raw energy makes it one of the most appealing songs in this entire LP, and it just stays intense for the 7 minutes that it lasts. And then there's the song Human Drama 2, which is maybe the most powerful and moving and beautiful, wonderful ballad on this entire LP. A song that is about the fluidity of gender and sexuality, and another winning vocal melody on this LP too that is delivered in this kind of gentle, emotive demeanor with all of these plucked synth strings playing in the background. Very refined, very pretty, but still maintaining a very strong element of weirdness, which Planning to Rock just oozes in every direction on every song on this LP. And lyrically, she just had me on this song at like, give me a human drama. This track is so beautiful. It really just sets sexuality as being this societal battleground on which people are currently deciding the future of so many lives. And aside from all of these major highlights on this LP, Planning to Rock segues nearly all of these songs with some pretty ear-grabbing, odd, and at times freakish interludes that are very tone-setting, and one in particular features some of the most avant-garde singing on this entire record. But for the most part, the interludes here sort of tease out toward a forthcoming synth part or melody that's going to be on a song that is about to pop up. Maybe give it more of an atmospheric backdrop or kind of an eerie tone before the beat sets in and the song becomes kind of danceable. I've heard a lot of weird intros to songs over the years with the numerous records I have listened to for this channel and just, you know, for personal time, and these definitely rank as some of the best, some of the most interesting, because they definitely do complement every single track here. And sometimes it's not completely apparent as to why, and I'm not even sure why 100% of the time. You know, there are just a lot of elements of indescribable magic that go into a record such as this. The message behind these songs, the beats, the manipulated vocals, the melodies on this record, I can't tell if they add up into something nearly indescribable and amazing, or if there's some other element being thrown into the recipe that I just can't put my finger on. All I know is that all of these characteristics add up into what is most likely one of the most amazing, creative, fantastic, and mind-blowing records that I think you can listen to not just this year, but in your entire lifetime. I'm feeling a 10 on this thing. A 10. Transition. If you've given this record a listen, what did you think of it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Why? What do you think I should review next? And that's it. Planning to Rock. All love's legal. Forever.